Good day everybody, my name is RagingRaptor and welcome to my first good game in the Manticore. Yes, as trash as some tanks are, you can see even those tracklings are deciding to be really There we go. I finally got a good game in the Manticore. It feels good when you have a good game in a trash tank, but then again I'm like, I need way too many games in this tank to have a good game in it. I'm still saying that this tank needs a lot of work to be actually fun, and it needs to have a lot of work to be actually viable, or even a tiny touch, I should say, competitive. Anyway, as you could see, we are on the map Glacier. We are very lucky as there are no Hearties at all. I'm in my platoon buddies with General Black and Dead Apple from Odom Mortis. So now let's have a look at what we are going to do. Okay, so usually first things first, there are two positions on Glacier where you can go, obviously. Like you can go up onto the hill, but you can also, up on the what's it called, the aircraft carrier rack. You can even go into the middle, or you can go over here, but I usually tend to go into this middle position when I'm not on a fast tank like an EBR. Quite simple. It's easier to go here and maybe even shoot at people which are going up here, than going up here yourself, going into the shootout and then losing because you have 2100 DPM. So now, let's have a look what we can do over here, and well, there we go, we spot the T100LT, the M48 pattern, and giving a nice little love tap into its side, which was a very lucky shot to be honest. Now we are trying to drive up here, but it's a little bit risky, because I don't really want to flip myself. One thing I noticed so far about the Manticore is it doesn't flip itself so easily as the tier 9 and tier 8 did. Luckily over there the object 705A was perfectly sideways to us, meaning we had an easy shot onto him with easy time to penetrate. So now, what can we do else? We got a Super Conqueror here and he doesn't really notice us, I think, too much, so we were able to give him a nice little love tap as well. And again, when you want to do some nice good old DPM thingy, forget about it, because again 11.08 seconds reload time with tank gun rammer, with vents and with optics, it's just like, why? It's slow. One of you suggested to try to use word stab instead of vents, which is like the usual way people are playing such tanks. I might be giving it a try to just see how it goes, but I'm not 100% sure, because I want to tickle out every single point of DPM I can get in this tank. You will see me doing a lot of moving left and right in this tank, or shimming my hull around left and right, because again, I already pointed it out, the gun elevation is absolute trash. Yes, I know, it is an oscillating turret, I know guys, but still, compared from the G-Zor, from the tier 9 tank, it's just a huge downgrade. A downgrade which just feels unnecessary. But yeah, now we have a pretty decent shot there on the T100LT. After missing the first half aimed shot, we hit the second one, which is great. And you can see I'm always going back kind of deep, so I'm not getting shot up by a Foch 155 or other TDs which I don't know are anywhere yet, or even a T11005. Again, I just want to say that if you are like in the back, like moving like this, which you usually did in the tier 7, tier 8 and tier 9 tank, especially in tier 8 tank, it was also super stupid because it had an oscillating turret, and comparing the tier 8 to the tier 10 tank shows you how both tanks are very similar and both are similarly trash. But yeah, it's super annoying to use, because usually you always have to turn your hull, and the hull traverse speed is not that quick when you want to shoot a little bit higher. And another thing, At least this tank can turn on the spot, while the other tier 8 one didn't. So that's a decent plus there. And we got super lucky. Look at that, we spot the FV, and I think this buddy is now regretting his life decisions, because he basically exploded. And this is why you want to play light tanks. Like, this is just a good feeling. You feel bad for the enemy, but then again you're feeling amazing for yourself. Also, did you see how I had to tiny touch drive backwards a little bit more? That was due to the fact because I simply couldn't elevate my gun enough to actually hit him. And if you are not 100% certain about if you can hit him or not, like, you will be exposed way longer than necessary for your enemies, because you have such awkward gun elevation and gun depression stats. Well, not gun depression, but gun elevation. Anyway, the game is already pretty decent. Look at that, we have 4.5k combined damage, 2.8k spotted, 1.7k damage done ourselves, which is actually really good, if I have to say so myself so far. That is, well, already an above average game for me. I'm sorry guys, I didn't really sleep that well. I'm kind of tired still, and I have to do those videos for you, so I have something while I was at Gamescom. Quite a long aim time done yet. The Option 268 was able to bounce the shot as I hit the lower part of his tracks. But you can see he is still driving, and oh boy, look at that, my reload was actually perfect, so I can get another shot in. But now, sadly enough, we already have done all of our AP shells. 10 shells are gone, half of our shots are gone, and I'm not sure if the, what's it called, the little wreck there of the boat absorbed the shot. I think I did. But nevertheless, now General Black is like, don't mind if I do, and one shots the Foch 155. Congratulations for that one. But now you can see we are only left with APCR rounds and 1 HE round. Yes, I usually always take 1 HE round with me, because so far I didn't really have any bad experiences with it. There was like only a really close couple of games where I was like, damn it, I had an HE shot with me, I could have carried without it. But then again, I have to say, there were like 90% other games, or 90% of the games where I had the HE shot, I used it, I penned it, and I did more damage than I did with an AP round. So, yeah. I know it's a little bit risky, but usually on tier 10 you have artillery you can shoot at, you usually have FVs, you usually have tanks you can penetrate. But then again, the HE is actually not that good. If you know, the EBR has 500 damage and 105mm of penetration, and it's just like, why is this a thing? Why is this HE of this tank so trash? At least give it 105mm of HE penetration, so it's actually more viable. But then again, you still won't be taking more than 2 shots, because you know, you have 20 rounds. And this game right here, even though it's like a pretty easy win, like we are constantly helping our team to participate, and there you can see we can turn on the spot. We're constantly helping our team to win, we are constantly active in the game, and you can see now we are reloading an HE round, because simply there is an FV, and an FV just loves HE. And this is also why I'm usually having an HE round with me. But again, please keep in mind that yes, this is lucky, and we even do a high roll for 528, which is awesome sauce. We just have 7 rounds left. Just imagine this being a little bit of a longer game, because that would be absolutely insane. Another high roll there with our premium rounds. Yes, I'm a premium round noob, guys, after losing all my AP rounds. Or, yeah, not having any AP rounds left. Just imagine, this game didn't took that long. Like, we are now almost 6.5 minutes in, and we have 5 more rounds left. Just imagine this game being a tad longer. You can easily, like way too easily, lose that game, and because of low ammo count. Like, again, we have 4 rounds left with even more than half of the game's length left, and it wasn't like I wasn't shooting a lot. I did shoot a lot, but it was like, it's just like, ugh, it's so annoying. Like, look guys, I get that this tank most likely doesn't have a lot of space for rounds because it's small. I totally get that. But then again, I'm like, man, it feels bad because you always have to think about, don't forget, you only have 20 rounds. Do you really want to do that snapshot? Do you really want to try to do that shot on a move? Do you really want to risk it? It's super dangerous because you don't have many rounds left. Like, you always have this nagging feeling, and it's like, why is this a thing? Why is this a thing, and why is it so darn annoying? Anyway, let's have a look at the game, because it was a good game. We did 4.2k damage and 2,800 spot damage, which was like a great game for a map like Glacier. We were super lucky that there was no artillery around. You could see it was a first class, no ace tanker though. We were second in damage, and that is pretty lucky for us, right? And lastly, again, 16 rounds, 14 hits, 11 pens. And I have to just say, like, man, this game took 6 minutes, less than half of the game, and I only had 4 rounds left. And yes, I was more or less shooting constantly-ish, but then again, we did 4.2k damage. This is basically 2 minutes worth of fully shooting, and this was a third of our time roughly. And then again, I'm like, man, why does it have so little rounds? It feels so bad. But yeah, this was a good game I had in Manticore. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I was able to show you the actual strengths of the tank, which was its camouflage. You could see the 268 got shot up by me. Didn't got spotted, and we were able to outspot the T100 LT, which is cool. But then again, I'm like, I could have done this so much better in the EBR. I could have done much more in the EBR and would have had a lot more fun. Like, again, the Manticore has its times, but I'm always in the back of my head, I'm like, if I would had any other light tank, I would have most likely been more effective than with the Manticore. But yeah, that's how it is. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, a thumbs down, and some feedback I'm always happy with. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more detailed replays like this, where I'm analyzing my gameplay and show you what I did and what went through my head. And as always, thank you so much for your attention, and talk to you all later.